I am Ray, and you're not addicted, you're unconscious. You see, I'm about to tell you all the secrets to get rid of your addictions effortlessly. Because that's what I did. I actually struggled for years and years. And then eventually, once I figured this out, go on. No problem. No problem. So if you want to save yourself years of misery, then hold on to your butts. Because prison is not a nice place. And drugs are bad. I guess there are also other addictions, but I rest my case. It really baffles me sometimes how simple it is to solve all of these problems. Here you are, putting your hand on a hot stove. Why do you do this? This is what all self-destructive behavior is like. But there's only two reasons you would put your hand on a hot stove. One, you're either just not paying attention, or two, you don't love yourself very much. That is all. The two root pieces of addiction. Lack of love and lack of awareness. So all we have to do to become free from any addiction, become more aware and be more loving toward ourselves. Everything else is a distraction for the most part. Let's tackle the love part first. Now imagine for a moment a cowboy riding through a western town, and he's bobbing up and down on the horse, and people are looking at him, and he looks strange because he's kind of worried. So somebody asks him, "Hey man, cowboy, what are you doing around these parts? Where are you going?" And the cowboy says, "Well, I don't know. The horses just started running, and I can't get off." And this is how most people live their life. The unconscious is the horse, and the cowboy is the mind, conscious mind. And so people are a slave to this animal body. The instincts, their feelings. Now, the conscious mind speaks the language of patterns and the body feelings. Every time we have a strong feeling about anything, our body records and takes a snapshot, and it takes whatever information of your experience and pairs it with that feeling and stores it in your body as memory for later. Trauma is just negative memory stored in the body. And trauma is the root of most addictions. Most of our trauma is done in childhood, when our unconscious mind is most programmable. And then later in life we have to deal with all of these unhealthy patterns that we've developed. And because people don't know how to change, they stay stuck forever. And this is why you see you can struggle with addiction forever, for years. Struggle, 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 no success, no success. Because it's like you're riding that horse and it's going this way and you're trying to go this way, and so you're always freaking out. The horse doesn't like you very much, so it's not listening. But at the end of the day, who's going to win? You can't get off the horse. The horse is just going to pull you around. It's going to do what it wants to do, and it's not going to care what you think about it. But you, as the higher being, have to learn how to talk to it. The moment you get the cowboy and the horse on the same path, whatever you want is effortless, because the horse is doing all the work. But this is Manuel mode, and this is automatic. In Manuel mode, you're always having to use willpower, and willpower is a limited supply. You only have a certain amount of battery every day. So every time you use your willpower, it's being drained, which is why at the end of the day, oftentimes, you don't feel like doing much. And every time you resist your addictions, it's draining you. Every time you fight with them. And so they can just kind of ruin your life so easily, because they become your center focus of everything. And all you do is struggle with your addictions. You indulge, and then you run away. And then you indulge, and then you run away. And everything else kind of gets pushed out. You have no energy. You have no power. So putting the whole burdens of the world on you is not a good idea. We have to get into automatic mode. Deal with this. And once we stop using willpower to do things, now we freed some up. We can do more things. How do we train the horse? Through habit, through consistency, doing the same things over and over again. And we also speak the language of feelings. Just remember, if you want to speak to the unconscious, two things: habit, consistency, and feelings. Now let's get into some specifics, shall we? Well, let's do a bit of instincts. Let's do a problem that a lot of people have, some kind of sexual addiction. Doesn't matter what it is. You know if you got it. All it is that your sexual instinct has become maladapted. Meaning, instead of being pointed in the right direction, it's pointed in the wrong one. You have a negative feeling about it, which means you have a negative relationship with your sexuality. Not good. And the only reason that is because you have had more negative experiences with this than positive ones. So you have a negative relationship with it. You have felt bad more than you have felt good about it. So all you have to do to heal the addiction is to feel better about it. Change the feeling. Positive. You choose love. The thing is, you have to expose yourself to the pattern, or else you can't reprogram your unconscious mind. So every time you're dealing with anything that has to do with this, you have to consciously focus on love, because the automatic programming is going to be fear or worry or shame or guilt. It doesn't matter what it is, even if you're struggling with some kind of addiction. If after you indulge, you ruminate on shame and guilt, you're reaffirming the one thing you're trying to avoid. You're continuously programming a negative relationship with this. So you're feeding the addiction through your shame, through your guilt. And a lot of good-hearted people think they should feel shame and guilt. Oh, I did something wrong. I should feel bad. But this is why the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I don't care how bad you think you are. This is the only option. If you logically want to solve the problem, stop ruminating on shame and guilt. Stop judging yourself. I don't care. I don't care how bad it is. Stop it. Logically, you cannot continue to pour gasoline onto a fire and expect it to go out. If you judge yourself for whatever this is, whatever addiction, you will feel bad about it, and that will keep you stuck. And that is why people stay stuck for years. They get in shame and guilt spirals, and that negative emotion feeds the addiction, feeds the attachment. And really what happens is that we judge and label our emotions. Who said shame and guilt was bad? Here's the root of a lot of our problems. Another one. Big tree. The problem isn't the negative thoughts. The problem isn't the shame, the fear, or the guilt. The problem is our reaction to them. We judge our shame and guilt as bad. We have a little bit of guilt feeling, and then we just go to town. Yep, I'm bad, I'm bad. It's just a feeling. You don't have to judge it or label it. Feelings are not meant to be judged. They're meant to be felt. The whole problem is the psychological rigmarole of getting in this story about how bad of a person you are and how bad life is and how much you're struggling and how much you suck. It's just all a psychological drama. Stop it. You don't have to do it. Sometimes we just need permission to realize, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to feel guilty. Because if you feel guilty, well, then that means you're at least somewhat of a good person. If you didn't feel guilty, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. So forget about the whole trying to be moral and good person kind of thing. Fix the problem. The problem with the heart is that it's blind sometimes. So you really want to do better. I want to get my life together. But you gotta balance that out with a little bit of psychopathic mind logic. The heart, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better. Oh, I've failed. Come in with the mind and say, well, it's part of the journey. Who cares? You've fallen off your horse. Get back on. Stop wallowing in suffering. Because every time you lay on the ground and you're wallowing in suffering, this sucks. You're wasting time. Logically speaking, it doesn't make any sense to allow shame, guilt, and fear. Again, if you actually want to solve the problem, become indifferent. Because so long as you're attached to whatever it is you're addicted to, you will stay stuck. That is the definition of attachment. And that is the definition of addiction. You're attached to something that's not letting you go. So, how do you become free? You become non-attached. And how do you become non-attached? You become indifferent. You stop caring about the addiction. But this is going to be hard for heart consciousness-centered people. Because the heart cares a lot. But the mind doesn't care about anything. It's completely neutral. So you see, if somebody's all mind and no heart, they're psychopaths. They have no ability to have empathy or care about others. They're just completely selfish beasts. But you need a little bit of that, or else the heart can lead you astray. You need the mind to see clearly. And this is why you can't add more negativity onto a negative situation and expect things to get better, logically speaking. So from this moving forward, You gotta stop judging yourself, and you started out loving yourself. If you actually want to make life better. If you don't, then just keep doing what you're doing. So the first step, every time you indulge in your addiction, that is not the problem. It's not. The problem is how you respond. And how you respond will determine how long you will stay stuck with this addiction. If you want to be free, love yourself. Non-judgment, unlimited compassion every time you fall down. Like a little baby. You wouldn't yell at the baby, "Hey, you shouldn't have fallen down! Your big head! Foolish baby." Stop it. You're just learning how to walk. Learning how to live life again. And there's something to keep in mind every time you fall off your horse. Don't just lay there. Get back on. Keep moving forward. Now, ideally, this is how our life will go. In expansion phases and contraction phases, but in an upward trajectory. So what happens is that when we try to reach that next level of life, that is when all the old patterns, the addictions, they come up. Because, well, those addictions, those attachments are weighing us down. And they can't come to us in our next life or our next phase of life. So every time you reach this point, your old habits will come up for you to let go of. Now you can look at it like the universe testing you, but really it's just an opportunity to let go. And so what will happen? There's 3 possibilities, generally speaking. The worst case scenario, you continue to pour fuel on that fire, and you judge yourself and you beat yourself up. Oh, look at I was doing so good. Why do I always relapse when I'm doing so good? It's like I sabotaged my whole life. Why do I do this? I hate myself. Why am I this way? You are not really like this. Your unconscious is just sabotaging your life for survival purposes. It will not let you do anything that risks your survival. And going to this next level is the unknown. So it will pull you back to safety, to the known, because it's scared. The horse doesn't want to go this way. And so every time you're about to make that next leap, it just rips you back and starts going really fast the other way. And that's because we haven't learned to speak to the horse yet. You haven't yet learned horse language. That's hello. So if you judge yourself and beat yourself up, what was just a contraction phase, normal, healthy, becomes a full-blown downward spiral, where now you gotta hit rock bottom or some kind of floor, in which you've had enough suffering, to which now you're gonna change your ways, and this time's gonna be different, and then you can start going back up again. Yeah, it's okay if you do that, but you don't have to anymore. And if it does happen, what will continue to happen is that now that you're aware of what to do, how to respond when you indulge in addictions, with love and compassion, you'll fall down less and less. Meaning, normally you might go all the way down here. And then the next time you indulge, you might only go down here. And then the next time, only down here. And then the second way to respond to your addictions is like we've discussed. You indulge. Okay, it happened. But now you love yourself back to health. You take care of your wounds, you scrape your knee. And what you do is you learn from the experience, you reflect. You don't look at indulging in the addiction as a bad thing. You look at it as, what can I learn from this experience? And you have compassion and you love yourself. And what this does is you'll go down a little bit. You'll peak, or you'll go down here. And you'll integrate whatever wisdom you learned. And then you'll start going back up. And then you'll have another chance later on to use the wisdom you've learned to break through. And sometimes you have to continue up against that wall hundreds of times, because it takes a long time sometimes to learn the lesson that life is trying to teach you. But it becomes exponential. So it's like, there's a quote, it's like you bash a rock 100 times and nothing happens. And then you bash a rock the 101st time and it breaks. But it wasn't the 101st smash that broke the rock. It was the first 100. So as you learn, as you go through these experiences with your addictions, eventually you'll figure it out. And you'll just break through when the time is right. And then the third and the last way, the wise way to do this, is you bump up against this wall. And let's say you indulge a little bit. But instead of even thinking about it at all, in the background you could acknowledge that it's happened. You just keep marching forward like it never even happened, like it wasn't even in your experience. Just keep going forward. Shrug it off. Don't even acknowledge it or fight it or deal with it. Because what will happen is that as you're marching forth on your purpose, whatever you got going on in your life, the old patterns are going to pop up regardless. And the only thing that matters is how you respond to them. And if you respond to them as if they don't exist, they will stop existing. Now, sometimes the addiction is so bad that it just clouds your whole life. Okay, you got to deal with it a bit. Let's be practical. But eventually, your addiction stops weighing on you as much. And that's the time to just keep pushing forward. Fighting your addiction is like fighting the darkness. Like throwing punches in a dark room and expecting something to happen. You just exhaust yourself to no end. When all you have to do is turn on the lights. Flick. Doesn't take any effort now. Flick. And the darkness is completely dissolved. Instantly, with no effort. Why? Well, I don't know. That's just the way it is. Darkness is unconsciousness. The light is awareness. Simply becoming more aware on this journey will cure you of your addictions. But another way of looking at it is that life is being viewed through the windshield, not the rearview mirror. The darkness is the past, your old patterns, your old addictions that you're trying to get away from. And the light is the future, your vision, your purpose. So, you don't gotta continue struggling with the past, you just focus on where you're going. And the past just goes away naturally. But what happens is that we wrestle with the past, the old patterns, the addictions, and so we get stuck in the past. All that addiction is, it's something that we've been feeding our energy for some time. And where attention goes, energy flows. And the mind can only focus on one thing at a time. So you have a choice. You're either focusing on fighting the darkness or you're focusing on returning toward the light. That is it. That is all. What else can you do? If you try to do both, you're going to get ripped apart. You're going to feel stuck. Oh, I'm trying to engage in my dream life, but the old past is okay. You're just stuck. So everything comes at a price. That is why we just look at where we're going. And if the addictions come, just brush them off. Oh well, who cares? Become indifferent. Because the moment you become neutral towards your addictions, you stop fighting them. They're not negative. They're actually your greatest teachers. Then they fall away effortlessly. But the reason they don't is because we have a negative relationship to them. We have a negative attitude that this is bad. A story in our mind about how this is ruining our life. Everything's bad. This sucks. I'm trying to quit. I can't quit. Oh, I'm frustrated. I'm struggling. All just psychological stuff. That doesn't have to happen. It doesn't. It's the underlying attitude that gets us in trouble. But life is perfectly balanced between negativity and positivity. Your addictions will either be your greatest teachers that build you up, or they will destroy you. It's your choice. Whatever you believe will become true for you. And so if you just bulldoze your way towards your dreams, towards your purpose, you just pop up, go down a little bit, and now this will be your new floor in which you can build back up even higher. But you see where most people get screwed. The reason addiction even happens in the first place, or at least one of them, is a lack of purpose. If you do not have a clear vision for your life of what you want moving forward, then what do you expect? Your time is going to be eaten up by something. So if you don't consciously put things in your day to do, well then it's going to be filled with distractions and temporary pleasures. You have a fundamental life force within you that drives you to live. And if that life force isn't connected to a purpose or a vision, it's going to do whatever else. It's going to eat fast food. It's going to play video games. It's going to be addicted to sex. It's going to be addicted to being silly. Think about the idea of focus. It's your ability to pay attention to one thing. And there's a million different distractions in our daily life. So without focus, what do you expect? Of course you're going to get distracted. It's better to feel something. Oh, I know this is not good for me, but at least it feels good temporarily. If you listen to nothing else, if you simply just had a purpose and was steadfast and focused on it, the addictions would fall away. Because energy It's the force of creation. It's the force of life. So, the reason that our addictions keep us stuck is because we have been feeding them our energy over time. So they got some juice. They got our juice. We're attached. And so we have to allow that juice to dissipate. The addiction has an energetic momentum. So, the first step, stop feeding it. Love. And the second step, start pouring water on that fire. Well, that's love. You just stop. First you stop judging yourself, then you add the love. And the more you can become aware, cultivate awareness, the more you can create some distance between you and your addiction. And that distance is space, non-attachment. And if you accidentally feed the addiction, not through just indulging in it, but feeding it your shame and your guilt and, oh, I'm such a bad person, you just continue to wake up. Oh, wow, I'm ruminating. This is what the guy was talking about. And in your awareness alone, you're turning up the dim on the lights a little bit. Just a little bit. So it doesn't matter if you indulge. It doesn't matter if you even feed the addiction again. The only thing that matters is if you can cultivate just a little bit of awareness. Because next time, you'll respond differently. And the more you respond differently, you change your relationship to the addiction. From being this terrible negative thing to actually being something that's helping you. And the more you enter into this new way of looking at things, your mind begins hyper-focusing on the evidence in which that is true. So the answers become more and more clear to you over time. Oh, this is where I'm traumatized. This is why I'm doing this. And you can get to the root of the problem. I mean, it's a lack of love. So if you just love yourself anyway, whatever was traumatized can be healed. So get clear on your vision, on your purpose. And the less time you spend wrestling with your addiction, the better. It can be there. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Just let it be. Now, why awareness is the key to everything? Because the only reason we're engaging in the addiction is because we're unconscious. We don't fully understand the suffering that it is causing us. We may understand a little bit, but if we truly understand the consequences of the addiction, if we saw it completely, everybody would be free from all of their addictions overnight. But the fact is that we don't exactly see the full consequences. We don't exactly see how much suffering it is creating. And the reason we don't see this is because we think there's something to be gained. We think unconsciously or consciously that the addiction is serving some kind of purpose. If it wasn't, we wouldn't indulge in it. It's fulfilling some kind of need that we have. And because we don't have a healthy way of fulfilling that need, it just goes naturally to the addiction or something negative. Think about smoking weed, for instance, or any kind of drug. If you're hell-bent on living the life of your dreams and focusing on your purpose, you don't got time for heroin. I promise you that. But if you're just sitting around all day bored, you gotta do something. Heroin. Yeah. Wonderful. Until it's not. Or video games. You have to go on an adventure in life. Life is going to drive you to do that. But if you don't do it in the physical world, well, then you'll get stuck in fantasy. You need that outlet. It needs to be expressed. And so it will be expressed in the form of video games. Or the sexual instinct. The instincts aren't going away. Hundreds of millions of years. You can't run away from it, no matter how hard you try. So it has to be funneled in a healthy way. So through love, we heal the wound. And we stop bleeding all over the place. And through awareness, we understand why. We understand what to do moving forward. You see, once you realize that all addiction is just suffering disguised as pleasure, it doesn't make any sense to continue to indulge in it. You just drop the desire. Because it's like putting your hand on a hot stove. There's no point. But if there's a part of you that kind of likes the pain, then you'll keep doing it. Awareness is so important because addictions are illusions. And because we are living in unconsciousness, we feed into them. What does this mean? Is we think that addiction creates pleasure. And that is wrong. It's the illusion of pleasure. There is only pain. The more aware we become of the addiction, the more we realize that there is only pain and there is no point. That's why oftentimes things have to get so bad until we finally change. So long as we think there's something to be gained, it's going to be kind of hard to get rid of it. But moving forward, what I suggest is simply bring your awareness with you. Even if you engage in it, just observe. Don't fight and don't resist and don't go crazy. Just be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of your feelings before the addiction, during the addiction, after the addiction. Just be aware. And through this process, you will bring light to the situation. The more you can be non-reactive, neutral, just observing, non-attached from the situation, the more clarity you will get. And the more clarity you get, the faster you can solve the problem. Because the problem is, you don't know how to change. If you're struggling with an addiction, you don't know how to solve the problem, or else you wouldn't have it. So we need awareness to get data. And when we relapse, or when we're in those dark contraction phases, that is where all the gold is. But if we're so busy beating ourselves up, we miss the whole point. And then we're going to have to do it again later. Often worse. We will continue to repeat the same patterns over and over again until we learn the lesson. That the addiction is a reflection of something in us, a wound, something that needs to be addressed. In fact, all of our problems in life are a reflection of us. And the trick is, you focus your awareness on self-mastery, self-improvement. I don't need to run away from the addiction. I need to learn from it. Because it's exactly what you need for your next level up. It's showing you right here. Yes, you secretly feel like you are unworthy. Oh, wow. That's why I do it. And then you start loving yourself back to worthiness. And the addiction goes away, perhaps. It's like the story of the Knights of the Round Table in search for the Holy Grail. They went into a dark forest. And each man went into the forest in the place which seemed darkest to them. What you are looking for is exactly in what you are avoiding. Dealing with the addiction, facing it, facing yourself. And this is such a powerful way of looking at things because we reframe the addiction from being negative to being positive. Because it is. It's just what you choose to focus on. It's helping you. There are no such things as demons. There are only angels in disguise. You gotta snap out of the illusion. Pain is your greatest teacher. I say, the root of all suffering is unconsciousness. But the source of all enlightenment is suffering. So just remember these three things moving forward. Cultivate awareness. Slow down. Just observe. Observe your thoughts. Observe your feelings. Regardless of if you engage in the addiction or not. The more awareness you cultivate, the faster you become free. Then, show yourself unconditional love. If you fall down, don't beat yourself up. That's only making the situation worse. That's only fueling the addiction worse. If you want to be free from it, you have to change the way you respond to yourself, to life, to your addiction. You got to respond with love. You're learning how to walk. You're trying to figure things out. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down. And the more you beat yourself up, the longer your healing journey will take. So talk to yourself like a parent. Reparent yourself. It's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Don't worry about it. Just keep moving forward. You got this. And then lastly, get clear on a purpose for your life. Discover where you want to go. The moment you're focused one-pointedly on your vision, all the distractions fall away. But if you don't have clarity, then distractions can come in and you don't know what or what not to do. You got to fill your time with something. Fill it with things that are productive. One of the greatest reasons we're addicted is because we're bored. We don't got things to do. We got to do something. And people who are bored are drifters. They don't know where they're going. Because if they knew where they were going, they would have things to do. An infinite amount of things to do. And so step by step, day by day, get clear on this. Begin putting the pieces of the puzzle together. You don't got to have it all figured out right away. Just take one step at a time. And if you can do these three things, your addictions will fall away effortlessly. Because you're focusing on the light. You're focusing on what is good. You're focusing on what is right. You're not focusing on struggling with the addiction, beating yourself up. You're not trying to fight the darkness anymore. And through these things, you reprogram your unconscious mind. So you're not fighting against the horse anymore. And remember, the horse is blind. The horse only knows the information that you feed it. And you feed it information through your reactions, through your response. You tell the horse to freak out, or you tell the horse, everything's okay, there's no problem, don't worry. And as you begin changing your response to your addiction, your horse stops reacting terribly to it. Because what is happening is that every time your addiction comes up, it's sending you into this fight or flight response. Oh no, this is not good, this is not good. But that's only because you've been telling the horse to do that. And just remember, if you feel like you're repeating the same patterns and not getting anywhere, know that a person never steps into the same river twice, for it is not the same river and it's not the same person. Every time you indulge in an addiction, you're not the same human being as you were previously. You're always evolving, you're always changing. Look for these micro improvements. Every time you respond more positively to your addiction, you are one step closer to freedom. I am Ray. Visit my closed door. And if you still feel stuck on your journey, my friend, let us save you years of mindless wandering and struggle. I encourage you to join our free community. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.